Tuna wageni watatu, Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani, karibuni sana.
Well, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world. Whether you're of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, we welcome you this morning. Well, family, it looks like I'm just riding solo with Q2UA discussions. Presented by Q2 Night Africa. Q2 Night Africa, please visit Q2 Night Africa, where you can see all of our gifts and items at our Q2 Night Africa shop. Because Q2 Night Africa is about to blow up in a major way. Because we see what's happening on the continent, because the continent is about to blow on a major way. And the reason I say that is because I want to talk about Zimbabwe, and I want to talk about land. And I want us to understand what that land means and land rights mean on the continent. Oh, you ain't just going to go up in there and just take the land. Yeah, Mike, I'm going solo because I done gave you the link and you didn't show up. So yeah, I'm putting you on blast this morning, Brother Mike. So let me just kind of take you to a foray of me thinking about this and how. No, it was in the group text. Oh boy, Mike. Last night it was in the group text, Mike, at 8 o'clock your time. Around 8:30 your time. Oh boy. Family, I don't like to show what we have to do behind the scenes. But let me just kind of explain some things to you all when it comes to what we have seen in history. The land that we understand in that area, which is the promised land, especially as you read it in relations to jubilees and things of that nature. Well, you got to understand everything that is happening has already been said was going to happen. It's just that now they're thinking it's their time, it's their hour, especially as you see Asia getting into the land. And the land, when you do try to buy it, when you do try to develop it, there is a very strong caveat and stipulation that the land is there for 99 years and things of that nature. And yes, no, I understand, but that's the system we live in. We live in a system to where Babylon isn't over with yet, so you still have to work in Babylon, but you still have to develop things. See, we tend to not think about the implications. You got to remember, this system has told us how things should work. And let me tell you this. Here is the key to this. When you do for them, guess what? They'll do for you. When you provide and you show them how to work things for them, guess what? They will provide and show what they can do for you. Oh, yes. And do you know part of that is they'll give you land? Yes. And it won't just be the land for, you know, well, this type of contract here, this type of contract there. No, they do it as they're blessing you with this because they know that when they give, they know the principle of receiving. And not just when they're giving to some random person, when they give to their brother, they know they're giving to family. But you just can't go to family and be like, yeah, I see you're all stabbed up. I see you're all cut up. I see you need to be bandaged up and fixed up, but step aside. Let me see what you got going on here. See, there's some basic scriptural architecture here that we have not really understood because we've always been told, hey, you need to go there, you need to do this and do that, and guess what? They'll they'll make the contracts and everything else. Let me just tell you this, family. When Brother Mike and I were out there earlier this year, as we were explaining what we at Quest 2 Night Africa were trying to accomplish, right there in Temecca, when we sat with the leaders there in Temecca, when we're sitting with the leaders in Kimboni, when we were getting the idea and the understanding of each other, the general theme was, you want land, we got plenty of it. So think about this. Think about if they give you the land, what are you going to do with it? You going to just sit on it? I got land. I'm going to sit on it. No. They're asking, how productive will you be with that? How will that be able to be employed? How will that be able to produce? They want an economy that's productive. We had a productive economy until them folks just got greedy and burnt it on down because we woke up. But we know how to build up an economy. You realize our forefathers did that here in America? And everything that we did, they destroyed, and then they just rebranded it as, well, they did it all themselves. No, we've always had the capacity to do business. We've always had the capacity to build economy. We've always had the capacity to circulate wealth amongst us because we always understood how to provide the goods and the services to leverage the trade, to leverage the infrastructure. Oh, well, this is missing. Well, let's see how we can get this component in here. Oh, well, let's do this and do that. Hey, I know how to do that. Oh, okay. Can you go over there? Can you work that function? Can you train folks? Can you do this and do that? And then guess what ends up happening? Folks start to understand, they start to train, and guess what? They start to innovate. If you understood why we've been here and why we have been limited in the capacity, because when we start to innovate, guess what? We start to apply different ideas that then leap over what they have the baseline knowledge of understanding. They become baseline, and then we exponentially grow. And then we say, "Do you not get it?" Yeah, I get it, I get it, I get it. And they don't get it. Wait, can you break that down for me again? Wait, can you let me know that again? Wait. It's not so much about buying land. When people think about buying land, oh, well, I got to buy the land. I got to buy. No, it's really in this capacity, it's about getting on the continent and establishing relationships. Because when you get there, they understand our spirit, they understand our heart. We're not going there to try to conquer a people, we're going there to try to embrace our brothers and sisters. That's something that these folks from Saudi Arabia, UAE, China, India, wherever in Europe, they don't get. It's an embracing of a family. And when you embrace family, then guess what? What does family always do? Man, hey, I got to give you something. I think you should have this. I think you need that. I think you Is it not the Most High that puts things on people's hearts? I'm gonna bless you because, man, I love you. Because why? Because we're family. Because you see me again. You bandaged me up. You see that I was getting stomped down by all these other nations that wanted to plant their flag here and not want to help me. But look at this. Are you even getting paid anything? That's what they're gonna look at. Nah, I'm good. I'm enjoying seeing you prosper because this is what we do as a family. So when they see us coming in these places that our people have already been able to establish themselves in a very limited capacity. The people in those villages, they don't groan. They don't say, "Oh, we got black folks coming in." Oh, we no, no. It's the opposite. They said, "Oh, bring your brothers and sisters back. Bring your family back. Bring our people back. Bring them back to the land. We love having our family here because why? Because they treat us right. They treat us fair. We know that they don't abuse us." This is what we hear from them, their mouths constantly. When can you do more for us? When can you come on out here? When can you provide? That's what they're doing. Brother Mike, thank you. You finally got on. I know you've been going through some technical difficulties there in Chicago.
Bruh, let me tell you something. At first, it was Google. Shalom, first and foremost. At first, it was Google. Then I had this. You had that ringing. I think it was last week. So I went to a different browser. Everything was working real good until this week. And you told me, and when I seen you start putting me on mute many times, I'm like, he must be here in the background or something. And so I went back to Google. And here we are. Now, if it start, then I got to go back to, was it Firefox? I don't know what's going on. But now, to your question, earlier this, no.
Wait, Mike. Sorry, Mike. I got to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead,
I
brother.
told them about when we were there on the continent earlier.
Oh,
And
okay.
how our people, how the folks on the continent were saying they want our people back. And they wanted us to demonstrate what it is that we can do. Can you keep your promise? And it was like, once you do that, listen, how much land did they say, look, we have all this land. This is what they're saying when we were in Dodoma. Man, look at all this land here. How did you see that 10-hour drive that you drove? That
Yes.
you almost died on?
Man.
How much land is on out here? They were looking at us like, look, the whole
10 hours of it.
when Sebastian said, look, the whole land is in front of you.
Yeah.
Man, do you understand?
On both sides of the road.
Ooh, nothing but
On
valleys,
both sides.
ranges, valleys. Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And all they want to do is see us be there because why? Because number one, we're a natural protective force. That's who we are. We're Judah. If you didn't know that we're Judah, we're Judah. We always do what? If it's time to go, it's time to go. See, there's only so much that we run from. And then we shout it on out. We start to fight. If you didn't know about that Alabama brawl, they hated that because we rallied as a troop and them folks got beat down. It wasn't even funny. Folks were just getting flung into the water like they were just Raggedy Ann dolls.
It was that white chair effect.
So what do you think happens? We hate to see injustice as a people, even though we suffer the most injustice as a people. We would rather see when somebody is doing injustice, even for those that hate us, we step on in and say, hey, you know that's not right. Mind your business.
And it's funny you just said that. Have you ever noticed this? When you look at rappers and things, and they get into movies, they always end up playing a policeman. Ice Cube. What's that other guy's name? Hey, what's his name? Played on CSI. Hey, what was his name?
I don't know.
Oh man, I forgot his name. T. What's his name?
T.I.?
No, not T.I. But he did play. He played as a cop too.
Ice-T, yeah.
Ice-T. But you know what? My point of saying it is, it's deep down inside them. You know, they want to come off. As a cop. Keeping the peace or whatever the situation may be. You had Tupac who played a cop. But you haven't. You see. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? If you really go back and look at it, you like Queen Latifah. She plays a cop. We always get it. We go back to that, and
Yeah,
I don't think.
Cool J was in CSI. That's right. Yep.
Yep. I mean, you just go down that line. You can be like, wait a minute. Now, what you just said about Judah, and then you look at these entertainers. Them. Whatever rap they did, and everything. But when they get into that movie, they always end up playing some type of cop.
Mm-hmm.
It was just something when you said that, and I'm like, wait a minute, they did play cops and everything and all that stuff, but hey.
Yeah, Tupac did play the dirty cop.
Say it again.
Tupac did play the dirty cop. Thanks.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was a dirty cop there. Yeah.
What about Will Smith and iRobot? He was a cop.
Yeah. I'm telling you, can go down that line, man.
Oh, man.
You can go down that line. But the brothers and sisters, they know when we first went there, and they seen what we are, what we was trying to do and hoping to do. And they knew that it involved them.
Yes.
All the more so. They knew that it involved them. But at the same time, I understand they got to move, kind of quick and not necessarily under the gun, but they got to do it in order for you, or for them rather, to say, hey, if we go on this route and we just take our land and do what we go do amongst us, some people will get kicked out. Some people will lose income. And then it will become more of a political battle.
Yes.
But at the same time, they seeing the big picture. That's one thing that they are seeing. For the nation, or at least Tanzania, you have all of the brothers and sisters there, and the majority of them are living in poverty. Mm-hmm. While the visitors has control.
Yes.
No, that picture don't look. It doesn't look good. I mean, you seen it, Carrie. You seen the brothers and sisters. You can't even go a block or two without seeing a brother or sister that was maimed, with a damaged leg or something.
Yes. Yeah, a medical malformity.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because, honestly, it's just simple medical care that we take for granted. Let me tell you, you go on up to there and you have a full functioning tier 1, tier 3 medical facility with a full staff to treat trauma, with neurosurgeons, with cardiovascular surgeons, with orthopedic surgeons, with all of the state-of-the-art devices. Do you know how much land they'll give you? Please. See, you have to understand there's an economic model that we're trying to present to you all. You do the business component, they give you the land component. You need to have somewhere to live. I got you. This is something that we tend to ignore in the West. They think, because here's the thing, in the West, let me tell you this, they don't care about your living. What do they say? Just show up to work. But man, I'm living in a van. Don't worry about it. Just show up to work. I can't get any gas. Sorry, that's your problem. Just show up to work. That is so counterculture to what you have on the continent. Oh, you work for me? No, I got to make sure that your needs are met so you can show up to work. Because you, as a person, are the value. You're not the commodity, you're the value. See, you have to understand, for us within here, within the confines of the United States, we're the commodity. Because why? Because we've been on the slave ships. That's what we've been brought on over for. I didn't see anything change with the 13th Amendment. We're still 3/5, which means we still don't have the value that they look at us. Because why? Because we'll never have that value here in our homes, or what people want to say are our homes. So you want to know why? We get so used to being devalued, we just think that, well, guess what? That's just human nature, and it's wrong. That's not human nature. That's not. That's
But it
actually
seemed like it had a
below
bad.
human
It
nature.
seemed like it had a very bad effect on the brothers in the continent than it did with us, because once we started rallying up and things of that nature, no, we got away from that. But there, it kind of took root. It took root. You don't amount to nothing, and the spirit there is good. But if you really truly dig into it, all I'm looking forward to working for somebody. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of brothers and sisters there look forward to working for someone. And like one of the brothers that lived there, and he wanted to do business with us because he holds contracts for the streets. He street and sanitation.
Mm-hmm.
And so he pulled me to the side and said, "Brother, I really want to work with you people. My people here lack vision." He said, "Yeah, the colonizer, they did it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing you can possibly do to accept once things get to going and they start seeing who you are as a people coming back to your culture." He said, "That's the only time they're gonna understand what's really going on. They understand it to a degree, but to see brothers and sisters come back to the continent and brothers and sisters go over there and start making agreements and start working together," he said, "that's the time we will really come back together because we're working to get ourselves together." And it was and then that brother name is Stephen also. I just thought about that. And he's but he's in Dodoma now. But he lives in Dodoma, but he has property in Dar.
Yes. Yes. And that's where I think a lot of our people, it's a different model, and I get it. It's a hard model to explain. You mean that, look, we go on the ground, we actually help with infrastructure, and these folks would literally provide for us? Yes. Yes, that's what happens. They want our knowledge. They want our expertise. They want our understanding of how this world works. Remember, you think you had it bad in terms of miseducation. They've had it the worst because they've been miseducated even while they've been there on the continent.
Yeah. Still done and still is.
Exactly, Sister Corinne. Without a vision, people perish, and that's what they've told them. They told them that the only vision that they have is to serve and be in some sort of hospitality. You see what I'm saying? Hospitality. You know, you're making it if you're folding up towels. You're
And they went.
making it. Go ahead, Mike.
And man, there was a killing about it. They went to college just to learn that, to get a job for that. When you talk to you, we was in Tiffany's, and when we was talking to the brothers and sisters, and just what Kara said. I went to college for learn how to work in a hotel. That's what it boils down to being. Hospitality.
Yeah.
Majority of them. That's what they said. It's mind blowing.
They get a 4-year degree just to be able to stock soap. I mean, see, we don't understand how crazy that is, because we look at that like you only just need a high school diploma, and in some cases you just need a body.
That's all you need. You can learn this in one day. Oh man,
and that's what they do. There's no forward mobility. That's it. I made it here. I'm staying here. This is it. Well, don't you want to learn, and don't you want to train, and don't you want to get better? Don't you want to be able to take this and say, look, I can do this with this type of service, or I can learn that? See, they don't even have an understanding of how infrastructure goes. And the sad thing is, that's not just them on the lower level. That goes all the way to the top. That goes all the way to the top. You have their leadership. Man, we're in the dome and we're listening to these folks. You had some that were Western educated, and you had some that weren't. And you could tell that there was just a staggering difference. The ones that were Western educated were just defeated. Complacency had just eaten them up. Man, I live here. Ain't nothing gonna change. Yeah, I want to listen to it. Until you all are here and you're pumping into this economy, not just money, but skill sets. Do you understand all the wealth that these folks are literally trampling on underneath their feet in the ground? They know it. Oh yeah, we got tons of gold. We got tons of tanzanite. Oh, they love our tanzanite. We got tons of emeralds, rubies. Man, why don't you dig them out the gold and do what you need to do? Well, we don't do that because other nations do it. What they give you? What's close to nothing, but not really saying nothing? Oh yeah, nothing.
It can be very frustrating. The fact that we went there, and I think that what made it frustrating for us on a level, because we had we had to come back to the States, report to you all, and then we had to do donation to drive donations up for us to go there, do what we need to do. We already met the people we needed to meet. Now we met the locals. And truthfully, it's the locals that are doing majority of the talk. You brothers need to come home. You need to come home. And they know what we're doing. The TV, there's a pro and a con to television. But the thing that they looked at was African Americans. They look at and they see us, they think we very rich. They think we very rich. The politicians, they look at us and they say, well, I know what their money look like. And it's not their money that we need from them. We need their education. We need them to come back home. It's the education. I'm talking about if you got a brother here that dropped out of high school in the 8th grade. Man, that's gonna be like the 12th grade in Dar.
No, not the 12th grade.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say probably,
they
like
start.
Probably like the first year in college.
Oh, wait a minute. Well, because I know
Yeah.
I know the free education stops at the 7th grade.
That's what I'm saying. So that's like their first year of college. It's
Alrighty.
8th grade. Yep.
So
Yep, it sure is.
but the thing is, and well, for the ones that can afford it. So from the 8th grade going forward, that's $500 USD every year. That's how much it costs. $500. And so, I mean, when you making 100, I'm gonna just say, I'm gonna give you a more of a high end, $200 a month. Now you see why a lot of our people they're subjected to working for the Gentiles, period. And then they get the low wages. And I know Red was talking about this, how this country is dumbing down us. But what they did or doing in Africa, I mean, that's not even dumbing down. It appears that they attacked their innermost desire to be better, to do better, and to work together as a family and nation or what. But that division, it went deep. It went very, very deep. And now you have these presidents getting rid of the what did they call those things? The visas and things. So they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And once we get back on the continent, it's going to be a whole different ball game.
Yes.
Not saying that we're going over there being arrogant with it. No, we're not trying. No, we going in there, meet with the brothers, see what we can do, and work on what we can work on. And so, it's going to be a whole different ball game. It's going to be a whole different ball game. And matter of fact, the ball games, it had already started.
It did.
Yeah, it started already. And it may not appear so glamorous, but it got started.
Yeah.
It got started.
The ball game did get started with they now have I think it's like the East African Trade Federation. And we're still looking into that with, I believe it's Somalia, Congo, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, Kenya, and Ethiopia, if I'm not mistaken. Now they're making things a lot easier with them themselves. We're seeing some game-changing effects on the continent to make things easier for economic development. Now they're doing the economic development through policy, but they need now the economic development through the critical infrastructure. And that critical infrastructure component, that is the trade piece, the skills that we bring to build bridges, to build trains, to maintain, to revamp the roads. They have to have structural engineering. These folks came over from wherever they came at, and they purposefully did a bad job with their roads. Purposefully. So that Their roads could be decayed within a certain span of time. It's not for 10 years. It's not for 20 years. They continually did that so it could be degraded. So if they think that something is picking up, just give it a little bit of time, then, oh, well, sorry. It was just the environment, it's climate change, whatever you want to call it. They do inferior services and goods to them on purpose. Because why? Because they know that they don't really have the structural engineers there to really understand how the roads and the components there are done. And if it's done, guess what? It's done by somebody that doesn't look like them. Neither do they look like us here in the United States. They do it for the basis of a continual sabotage.
You know, I met with some farmers there, and one he grows pineapples, and he was looking for some investors so that he can expand. When I went out there, Karis, I went to the brother's field, and I said, "How far you go out?" Told his son to walk out there. Son kept walking and walking and walking and walking. I'm like,
he left for 2 days.
You know, I was like, forget.
Is he coming back? Yes, he'll be back in about a week. It's okay. Hakuna Matata.
And he said, and what he was saying was, I said, just tell him to come on back. That's cool. I got it. I mean, I got it.
Mike's so like, man, we just got to bring a drone out and just map this thing because that ain't gonna work. we need to get an ATV or something.
Yeah, a 4-wheeler or something. But it was just something. How
Mike, you
far?
Mike, you should have asked. Did he bring enough water on that journey? You don't need that.
Man, and it rained a day. It rained a day before that, and the roads was flooded. So we couldn't get through. But the driver said, "All right, look at Mike. We can walk the rest of the way. It's not that far." So it was me, him, and his sister. Because we went to. That's gonna be another conversation. But we went. We walked to the. Matter of fact, we walked to the elders, and you know they sitting out up under the a shade tree, and y'all just sitting there just talking and everything. So we went, and they introduced me to them and things of that nature. But one thing these elders said, and I just told them we just here to visit. I'm just here to visit and everything. He said, "You brothers need to come home." They said that in English. They said that in English. Why are they having this desire that we need to come home?
Yes.
They have a desire for us to come home. So continuing on, we got to the farmer's land, which is his father. And so I'm trying to get all of this land cleared to expand his farming business. He can't afford to rent a tractor. So he's limited. The rest of it just gonna be, foliage just growing up. But that's what he said he wanted to do. If he can just rent a trailer to clear the land to get it set for him to, he said once it's cleared up, he just maintain it. Make sure that, the foliage don't grow up and overtake the garden. This is what he said he needed. And then, to rent a trailer, I don't know how much it costs to rent a trailer offhand. But if you can just rent a trailer just to clear the land, that'll be better than buying it. Unless you just have, if you got thousands of acres of land, that's a different story. But in his instant, that's all he needed. He was looking for investors, and then here he go. We getting ready to go. So he said, "But brother, you brothers need to come back home. This is his father, the driver's father." And it was like 2 hours outside of Dar.
Mm-hmm.
That's where his farm is located at. And I was just like, And then, like what you said, Karis, they purposely, man, there's no ditches there. There's no ditches where water can flow into, and then it, going out to a ravine. No. If water goes sit, it goes sit.
Yeah.
And but this water was a little bit too deep, and I don't think his car would have made it through. So that's what he parked it, we walked it, and we just did it that way. I mean, the desire there for the brothers and sisters, it's going to get stronger. It's going to get stronger. For them to say, "Hey, y'all need to come home. Y'all need to come home." It's going to get stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we want it or not, it's going to. Take their trash out.
Well, remember, the funny thing is that as their desire for us to come home gets stronger, you realize that the Western nations are falling worse and worse into their own financial turmoil and desperation. And we've witnessed that. We've witnessed how the blanket per se, that safety blanket per se, that we've all been trapped under, it's a comfort blanket, right? But when things get uncomfortable, then folks have to start understanding what it is that they're truly witnessing. They're not going to tell you how bad things are right now. They're just going to say everything is good until you find out that your company is laying folks off and you're going to be in the next wave of those layoffs. This is what's happening. Because why? Because their money is running dry. Their money is running low. Nobody's believing in this. Because simply put, we are not believing in it as a people. See, you had to understand one of the biggest things that we used to say, and that was really for our comfort level, is that, yeah, we're going to get reparations. We're going to get reparations. That was honestly, hey, if we can keep that stick, that carrot dangling over them, then they're going to believe in this quote unquote American dream. Remember, we said it was such a fervor and a fever pitch that we literally got the backlash. And they wanted us to stop talking about reparations. They wanted us to stop talking about what was owed to us. And remember when they came out and said, "Oh, well, we're not going to talk about that for this and that and blah, blah, blah." Then what happened with most black people? They said, "Forget this place." And do you understand what actually ended up happening? Most black people started to talk out against this place. And when we started to talk out, guess what? Guess what you saw in the economy? Things started to slow down. Oh man, these black folks really aren't spending what they're using to spend. Oh, these black folks really aren't doing what, uh-oh. And because we said, "No, this American dream has died." It was DOA. It was a lie for us. Ever since the physical shackles came off and then they put on the mental shackles. And now folks were exposing the lie, and they couldn't run anywhere. They couldn't hide anywhere. And then black folks started to literally talk against the system. And then you saw from that moment in time, their world started to fall apart. Their world started to fall apart from that moment in time. No, we're not going to support you. Hey, aren't you going to support Ukraine? No. Or aren't you going to support us fighting against Russia and Iran and probably China? No. This is the most active generation to where our children are being told by us, you better not go over into that military. The Most High will do something for you. And now they literally had to bring back the draft. Don't worry, that is still on the table for our family. Mike's son turns 18 this month. My oldest son turns 18 next month. And we see what's going on. They have no choice but to go to war. And they want our sons and our daughters to make that war possible. Because why? Because the disillusionment, the wool is no longer pulled over our eyes. And that is something that they can't stand. Why don't you look at here the American dream? Look at here the American, because the American dream is not our dream. You mean the European dream? The European dream is dying. I don't know about you, but I look at the African dream of eating food that's healthy and not processed, and not given over to all sorts of chemicals that causes diabetes and cancers.
You remember when we was at the hotel and we met with the doctor?
Yeah.
Now, this is the thing. He was stating that diabetes was on the rise there, and they're giving him medicine. So, but you notice he said they don't have dialysis there. And I'm like, wait a minute, y'all eating all this food from the ground. How is it that you all are coming up with diabetes? And it's it's like baffling me, huh?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, Mike. Sorry, go ahead.
It seems like it's baffling me because, well, I know here when diabetes is so bad, you end up on dialysis. That's the cleansing of your blood. They don't have that there. Not in no village. Not in the village. And so, I mean, but here, those what do you call it? Dialysis locations popping up like Starbucks, especially in black neighborhoods. Especially. So my biggest question is, what is it that they're determining that they had our brothers and sisters there now? This diabetes is on the rise in Africa. And now, could it be that some of the processes of the foods has gotten into their diet? Because I know they was really they pushing this the steroids on the chicken. For all the brothers and sisters that own chicken farms, they give them that steroid. And well, and unfortunately, you in business to make money, but not at the expense of damaging someone. Because in the long run, that's what it's going to do. Those steroids, you eat the chicken, they go right into you. You remember back in the 80s, And it was talking about how young black girls was feeling out as if they was grown. But that's roughly when they had put they started with the steroids in the chicken. And so I mean, what they got going on with what they trying to push over there, it's not that it's like we know we need to be back there. We're not going to deal with these steroids here. Let the chicken grow the way it's going to grow. You know, those biblical laws that Yah had for his people that kept not only them clean, but the animals too. And so, I mean, over there, and if you just used to poverty, you see some money, you get more money, you get more money. They always stated this: the most greediest people in the world is poor people. They're the most greediest people in the world, and there's some truth to that. Because once they see some money, and they see what they can do, they go keep going and going and going and going, because they been psychologically damaged from poverty, and nobody want to go down that road no more. They don't want to go down that road, and I know for a fact each and every last one of us can understand that. We can understand it, but there's a measure of respect that we have to have for riches. We don't want to damage our brothers and sisters just because we want more money, you know, and things of that nature. So I mean, there is a limit of moving on. There's a amount of responsibility that comes with doing business and things, and especially when they're dealing with livestock and steroids and things of that nature, because we know the damaging effects of chemicals. Matter of fact, we like near about the first ones who get they tested this stuff on the foods.
Yeah, we've been the guinea pigs on this.
We if you want to talk about having a degree of being a guinea pig, African Americans, top dog. We know these things, and that's the whole purpose that we at Q2UA. That's what we. Some of the stuff, some of it, the Western thinking. And don't get me wrong, not all of it was bad. I mean, that was the thing we learned here. That's for the good. But that bad, we can always check that at the door. Always check it. And so, because we know the damaging effects of certain chemicals in foods, let the food grow the way Yah said it. Don't be something getting in trouble. You want to alter a watermelon because you don't want the seeds in it. You don't want the seeds in it because you want to dominate man. You want man to come back to you, but they only carries. Did you know that these Europeans are putting patents on seeds? They're putting patents on them.
Yeah, totally wicked, and that's why their system is being destroyed even more and more. They're destroying it themselves. See, you only had a little bit of time to see their full nature on display and how their nature is leading to their destruction. You see it. This is why we're here in this process. We were always going to come to this logical conclusion. And yeah, letting your soil rest. Being able to have what? Folks glean the fields after the harvest is in. Being able to provide for the poor and the destitute. And the notion of the poor and the destitute is brought on by the idea of greed, which is brought on by the idea of never being satiated, never being satisfied. We're living in that society that they're never satisfied. I'm only satisfied if I. No, look, we have to understand we are satisfied when we see our brothers and sisters being able to enjoy life, being able to thrive, being able to witness us come up together. I'm satisfied when I'm able to show someone, look, this is how you handle this situation. This is how you see this situation. And it's awesome to see, man, look at what I have learned and look at what I've taught. And now what was taught to me, I passed on to them, and now they'll be able to pass on to others. That's what we were literally supposed to do as a people when the Most High chose us for himself. That's our satisfaction, is to teach, is to reach, is to show, to demonstrate. That's our satisfaction. And rest assured, our work is not in vain. Our work is not in vain. See, their vanity is for imaginations and inventions to suppress. Because why? To suppress means to oppress. You're never secure in oppressing a people. That's just how it goes. Because now it's them folks that are realizing that they have been oppressed. And here's the thing, they were fine with us being the oppressed until they realized that that same oppression is falling right on them. That is where they're at right now. And now the whole world can see it. You don't think that these African countries don't see what's happening with us? Yes, they do. But see, right here, as we're getting ourselves together, guess what? They're doing the same thing. They're trying to plan the same way. I reach on out to these places. I make these phone calls with these folks. That's my job. That's what I do. To sit down, to schedule meetings, to talk and see what it is that they're needing, what it is that they would like to have accomplished, what they would see, what they would want to see. They know what they want. They just know that getting there is going to be difficult. They understand what they want to do. They don't understand the literal, superficial barriers that's been raised against them. And it's not because of their own doing, it's because of the other nations that are there in their countries, telling them and influencing what they're allowed to do. And what they're actually doing is they're cutting off the prosperity of their own people at the sake of another nation coming in. This is what we have with Zimbabwe. Yeah, they got their land back, but now 20% of the land is going over to another nation. What do you think is going to happen there? And let me tell you about the Emiratis. You don't have that many Emiratis. You want to know how many Emiratis there literally are? Actual Emiratis. No kidding. Emiratis that get their what is it? They're, I think, 200,000 or 300,000 a year stipend, probably a little bit more than that, for being a natural Emirati citizen. Yeah, that's what happens in the UAE. I've been there a couple times. You can see my passport's been stamped. They come on over there, and they're not coming on over there as Emiratis. They're coming on over there with Indonesians, Filipinos, Bangladesh, Indians, all these other nation groups to go what? To spoil the land. That's literally what it is. That's what they signed. Yeah, we need a special visa with this work thing for the Emirati this or the Emirati that. Understand how they give away their heritage. Shalom, brother Red. Glad you could join us this morning.
Hey, how you doing?
As brother Red gets on, brother Mike drops off. Technical difficulties. Well, and leading up to that, telecommunications. Telecommunications. Being able to have our own telecommunications to run. Being able to communicate is a vital strategic component. What say you, Red?
We need to have. Oh, no. We need to have a system that is separate from the the crazy system that's set up right now. I'll just put it like that. It's really important to put that groundwork in so that we can eventually build up, kind of like how what China has. China has the internet, but they have their internet with a firewall blocking out certain stuff, mainly for their censorship reasons. But we want to do it for a reason to keep things holy and pure within the networks and stuff that we create, and also to keep out certain bad actors and stuff like that. It's important that we really look at this thing from a holistic standpoint. It's not just like coming in and tapping into Gentile made stuff. We're coming in and we're rebuilding things from a righteous standpoint, so that way you don't have a lot of the filth and the contamination that's in a lot of the communications that's going on right now. Because unfortunately, most of the stuff right now has espionage layers to it. It has spiritual filthy layers to it. So one of the things that we have been looking into is creating a different and a pure platform that all of us and our cousins on the continent can benefit from, that'll help us take things and put it in motion in a way that will, what's the best word for it? I'm trying to speak.
Guys, go ahead, because I put you on the spot this morning. I put you on the spot.
No, I know, because I know some things that I don't want to have your channel go down like 2 days later you get a strike.
Oh man, let me tell you this.
I gotta start talking in code.
Listen. I got wrestling against spiritual powers. Video cannot be monetized. Snake hunters. Video cannot be monetized. There was one video that had just gotten removed I think yesterday. Another video getting ready to get removed. Let me just tell you, we're under attack here. Part of the first attacks that you always get are the communications attacks. But it's funny because no matter how much they try to attack our communications, guess what? It's not us that's communicating. It's the Most High that's moving.
That's right.
So no matter what, you can't attack spiritual. Okay, right. You can attack me. I'm a spiritual vessel. I get it. I'm a fleshly thing that the Most High uses. I get it, but guess what? Your arms aren't gonna don't have that width or that capacity to withstand the Most High. You just don't.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Not gonna
Plus,
happen.
there's a lot of limitations that was built into our current existing network that I just don't like and disagree with. These things were built with the mindset of feeding and enriching those at the top. Because if you really look into the history of just power and electricity, having a wired electric grid was something that people thought was just crazy and stupid. Nobody wanted to do that back in the day because it was cumbersome and dumb. But when certain folks got a hold of their copper mines, a certain JP Morgan, then all of a sudden, now we have all these wires and all this stuff hanging over our head. So there's a lot of things that we're not even told about the science of technology that we can use for proper communications. And a lot of this stuff is held back because of greed. So once we are, on there, we're going to be building something that's not just around greed. It's about building it for what's good for the people. Having it set up properly so that, hey, we can have a proper wireless system that it don't matter if you're out in the bush somewhere, you can still receive signal, you can still receive electricity, and you can still have access to something that's going to be a balance. It's not going to be digging up and destroying, the environment. It's going to be environmentally friendly and it's going to be technologically advanced. And that's the kind of stuff that we really talk about a lot and that we look into a lot for doing and building in these different locations, because this is something that's going to be needed. You got to communicate, you got to have things. Africa's huge, man. We always see it small on the map. I don't think it really clicks in our brain to understand how huge this continent is. And there's no way in the world you're going to be having wires running up and down.
The United States, the continental United States, you can fit into Africa at least, I believe, 3 or 4 times.
Big time. Let
me ask you something.
England, how many times that little old tiny place could fit in here?
What's the time limit on a flight from New York to California?
About, let's say 5 hours, maybe.
All right.
5 hours.
It takes 4 hours to fly from Dar es Salaam to Ethiopia.
Yes, it does.
You remember that, Karis?
Look, it took to fly from Dar es Salaam just to Nairobi. That thing was 3 hours.
See, that's what I'm talking about. All you got to do is add these hours up, and then you're from Chicago to Atlanta. What? Straight flight. 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah, about 2 hours.
Yeah. All right. So but when you're talking about Africa, you're talking about, man, please. It is like what Red said. Africa is so humongous. I don't even think we can even grasp it of how large our country is. Things he was talking about, like open up a trade school. Instead of us, I know once we get them moving on our second wave. No, we talking about me and Red talk about this. Like, hey man, we could buy a switch, break that switch down, and rebuild that switch, and we start from there. We rebuild it, cut out what needs to be cut out, come up with our own boards, and show the brothers and sisters, what we know, and we just move on from there. Because now you go cut people out because you go and get a switch now. And with communications, it's always a loophole where somebody else can get in. It's built that way. It is literally built that way for other people to come in. You can come in and talk, I got a firewall, but after so long, you got to go and change that thing out. It will wear out. Somebody go find a way to get into it. But communications is like what you said, Karis. The first line, that's the first thing people of the nation look at. How can we establish communication? How can we destroy or disrupt communications? But if they knock us off, continue to take down videos and things of that nature, can you imagine they taking all of these African Americans who have woken up and they talking about it on a daily basis and they sending out judgment? The scriptures tells us you must preach this to the nation. This is a biblical command from Yah that we must do. Well, if you go back years ago, we probably would not have thought that we would see YouTube and the platform gets out there. I mean, it's out there. And if you want to go to Europe, they hearing it. They want to go to Africa, they hearing what you preaching. So, but if this nation wants to go in and shut everybody down, the rocks would start to preach. And see, and that could, and then from there, already, you just really put yourself in a worse position as a nation. But at the same time, man, we're gonna just keep preaching and trying our best to get back to the continent and work with our brothers, make connections, and keep on talking with them. I mean, they have the land there.
Yes, they do.
And there's so much land there. Even the Gentiles, they can't even cover that land. Once they see a spot and it's a heavy deposit of gold, they stand right there. They stand right there. Because if Africa was so small, where's all these bulldozers that should be breaking up land, getting all the minerals? These so-called nations that's already there, they can't do it. It's just they cannot do it.
It is way too massive, family. I think the Museveni said it there, Uganda, President Uganda. He said it the best. Africa's empty. Africa is empty.
Yep.
So we're talking about, oh, well, land. No, shout out to Sister Josephine Israel. She was in the chat. She said, yeah, the nations are going to give us the land. Yes, they are. Because you want to know why? Because that place is empty. Because as soon as we get there, guess what we're going to be doing? We're going to be working that land. And we're going to do what? We're going to multiply that land. With what? With resources, building, planting, cultivating, industry. These other nations, they know what we're capable of. You want to know why they know what we're capable of? Because we done built this place. We've enriched them. That's why they know what we're capable of. That's why they're afraid. But all we have to do is literally just sit down with them and get in front of their faces.
Yep.
But it takes a process to get there. It takes a time to get there. Because why? We have to develop the relationship first. Just like when we have to develop a relationship with the Most High, with our people, we have to develop a relationship with each other. That all goes hand in hand. We have to walk hand in hand. It's the coming of the two sticks. Not the bigger stick going over the smaller stick. It's the two sticks. And that's what we're doing. We're doing this together as a people. We're learning. If you would have asked me this last year, hey, brother Karras, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. Number one, you're going to get laid off. And then number two, the Most High is going to support you through this whole process. And you go to the continent at least twice. I would have looked at that person this time last year and I'd be like, nah, I can't see that. Because honestly, I was very comfortable. But now I look at the folks that have been in the position and I see them on LinkedIn. I see them, hey, thanks for the opportunity for my one job. And, I'm looking for another opportunity. And these opportunities are now few and far between because why? Because now their wealth is drying up while the wealth on the continent is increasing. Look at Niger. Look at Burkina Faso. Look at Mali. They're making deals with all these African nations on the continent, with Niger and Rwanda. They're not sitting idly by just allowing other nations to just walk all over them. They're getting control of the resources. And then it's going to be up to us to help them manage it. That's exactly what this word says. We're coming together as a people right now, slowly but surely. We're coming together with all the idiosyncrasies and everything else.
They seeing it. They seeing it. They seeing this. They seeing us coming together. It's always gonna be an emotion that get it started, and that's what it was. And now here we are. How many times we've been in Africa? 3 or 4 times. But the more you go there, the more you want to go back because it's like you want to put your foot on that continent and like that footprint. You don't want that footprint to wash away. And the world's seeing this. They know it's a dangerous thing for us to go back. The world knows this. They know it's a dangerous thing. I remember back in the days, back in the 90s, it was this comedian, and he was joking about it. And he said, these people hate us so much, but they love Michael Jordan. They love Mike Tyson. They love Muhammad Ali. They love the rappers. They love the singers. And so he was just joking. But he said this, but can you imagine all of these superstars, movie stars, musicians, and just the regular old plain ordinary black folk left and went back to Africa? He said, what would this country look like then? And he just broke it on down. There will be no style. There'll be no music. He said, when it's all over said and done, not only did we build this country, we made this country. You want our swag, and they do. They could sit up and talk about a black woman until they blue in the face. But all of them always mimic their lifestyle around a black woman. When it's all over said and done, they mimic everything about a black man. Black man can come up with a certain style of clothing and wear it. Boom, it becomes trendy. Then all of a sudden you could take another person, a Gentile, he puts it in rotation. He puts it on and manufacture it and make millions of dollars off of it. But unknowingly, well, to the black guy, he's the one who started that trend.
Mm-hmm.
We always starting things, and the world profits off of it. That's one thing they do. I mean, well, I'm gonna say it this way. When they was doing this, the butt implants down in Brazil and all that stuff, when back in the early 2000s, late 90s, every woman on TV knew she had to have a butt. I mean, that was a big and booming business then. And everybody went out there. Where it come from? Where did that line of thought come from? It wasn't like black women was out there just advertising it like that. People just looked. And they seen what the desires was. In the world, they jumped on it. And it may sound somewhat kind of gross, but that's what they did. They jumped on it, and they was out there, and they had, the businesses had it out there talking about enhance this, enhance that. They jumped on it, and it all started with us, the trendsetters. I mean, well, we come up with a slang. Next thing you know, everybody using it. They used to say, "Oh, black people was unintelligent." You say four. Some of them say four. Now, for the one that said four, it always end up in a rap. And so I mean, what you was talking about earlier, Karis, how they attacked the spirit of brothers and sisters, how they was trying to how they did. They demean us. Mm-hmm. They demean us. They had our well, it was biblical too, because y'all said we would not be able to lift our eyes. Mm-hmm. And so now, with this curse gone from us, we lifting up. Those eyes are, I mean, they straight high. But you still have African brothers that comes here, and when they see a Gentile, they drop their head and speak to them. I was like, no, bro, we don't drop our heads, we don't drop heads here.
Yeah, it's sad. They're still subjugated. They're still subjugated in their own land, and it's sad to witness that. It's heartbreaking.
It is. But I mean, like that brother said, if we left, that's Armageddon within itself.
No, it's not if, Mike. It's when we leave.
Well, you're right. You're right.
That's going to be a lot of long faces on a lot of these Gentiles.
Yeah, you're right.
A lot of long faces.
It's going to be a lot of long faces.
Yeah.
Football and basketball would end overnight.
When we leave, we won't leave quietly. We're gonna be breaking out dancing. We're gonna be doing the Soul Train line. You go, yeah, strutting down. You know what I'm saying? Look.
They definitely gonna have to have some kind of peacekeeping force around to keep them folks calm, because we gonna be, boy, look at nah. No. Hey.
They will have to have a peacekeeping force, because Rojo's gonna be making some folks mad with slinging pork bellies at them, slinging bacon bits.
You ain't joking. Walking around with his pet pig with some diamonds around the pig neck.
Doing a Cupid slide all the way to the pier.
Oh.
Shoot.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a lot of happy folks. It's gonna be some sad folks too, because some folks is clinging to this old system, because that's what we're talking about, like rebuilding things, because it's not going to be we're not going over there to build Babylon. We're not going over there to build everything that we see here. We're going to build it up in a righteous mindset with a righteous standpoint, so you don't have a lot of the we're so used to these systems over here that are designed for oppression that, you know, they're kind of like a security blanket. And it's like, nah, you don't need that. You don't need these type of things. You don't need to have a license to go fish. You know what I'm saying? It's fish freely there in the sea that gets created. Why in the world I got to pay somebody for a license to go and get some fish? You know, you could collect rainwater if you want to and create your own rainwater system. You don't have to have no laws against that over there. Like over here, you can't collect rainwater. There's laws against that. If you try to disconnect from the system, you will go to jail. It don't matter if you got solar, collect your own water, none of that. Even if you live in purely, it is literally illegal to live off of the land here in America, which is insane.
You know, in Chicago, you talking about growing something, you're supposed to have a license to grow like vegetables in your backyard.
And they over here telling people not to grow stuff in their backyard and stuff like that. Like when's the last time you walked around and seen fruit trees and all kinds of trees and stuff? All our people coming back from over there is like, there's so many trees, there's so much fruit, just stuff just hanging around and
dropping
there's so
on
many
the ground.
That's why most of them folks can just live in certain conditions because they don't have to have money necessarily to eat because there's trees all around and they can go and get stuff. There's abundance all around. They can go and make themselves what we would call a humble living, but honestly, that's just free living off the land. You can't even live off the land over here. If you homeless, you out of luck. You got to beg for food because you can't just walk and see a bunch of trees growing some fruit and eat some fruit and be satisfied.
Like, you can't necessarily grow on the land because the grass it may be green, but it's chemically induced to look that way. You put a seed down there, that seed ain't gonna do nothing but die.
Like when I was younger, we would see fruit trees and stuff all the time. In America, they have killed off all, especially down here in Florida. They'll have orange groves all over the place, citrus trees all over. We had a grapefruit tree in our backyard. You don't hardly see none of that stuff no more. You used to see lots of frogs and lots of grasshoppers and butterflies and stuff. I don't hardly see none of that no more. They have killed off the land over here. And over there, you don't have that problem. I mean, you just walk around, you can just get fruit off a tree.
But you know what? They can't kill the land. It's just too big for them to do it. That's the beauty of it. It's just too big for them to do it. But at the same time, they want to give off this impression. Oh, this is the size of Africa. Man, please get up out of here. No, me and Karis rode down that road to Dodoma.
You see fruit just hanging everywhere. It is a land flowing with milk and honey, and it's sad because it's like they're just walking on it. Yes, mango trees are growing like weeds. What does Sebastian have on his property over there, Mike?
What was that called?
Soursop fruit. It was like soursop fruit. It was.
Man, I tell you, it was good. It was good.
It tastes like a natural Jolly Rancher.
And you know, the thing about it is, I'd never seen it before. But there are some fruits there that we have never seen. Mm-hmm. And it's now Quinn was the one who was looking at fruit up, and he knew what it was. And I was like, man, we pulled up. Walked around on his property in this tree, just growing his stuff. He said, "Oh, let's go over and get some of this, whatever he called it." And I mean, that fruit was good. Mm-hmm. It was good. It was good.
Yes. Yeah.
Like man.
And let me tell you, that soil there is so rich. Things will just sprout up like that. All they literally need to have is a good irrigation system so they can have, a little a dripper on there for their soil, and their crops would be just plentiful. And it's crazy, just for the little that they have, they're feeding the whole world. I don't think people understand this. When you eat ice cream with vanilla and chocolate, where do you think most of that comes from? The ingredients to chocolate, the ingredients to vanilla? Come on now. That comes straight from the continent.
That's right. That's why they stopped pulling their chocolate out because all the chocolate I used to think it came from what was it, Sweden over there. They always have their famous quote unquote chocolates and stuff like that. And then come to find out, no, that chocolate was actually coming from Africa. Like everything comes from Africa. I remember even my little stepson did a study in his school, and they found out that the pattern plaid, came from, I think he said it was the Maasai tribe over there, and they had to end up getting paying them because one of these Gentile rainbow designers took that pattern and then called it and put the color on it and tried to change the color.
Everything in all your top designers
comes from Africa,
from Louis Vuitton, what is it, Dooney and Burke, and all these other places. You get what I'm telling you?
Mm-hmm.
It all comes from there. Their patterns come from there. They're not doing anything special. All they're doing is just marketing it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I put it on the patent so you can't use it. Use what? See, we've been having this. We've been having this since y'all could even pipe plumbing.
You were still dumping your chamber pots in the street.
Bingo. They
That's
know
crazy.
how to do that. The crazy thing is they know how to do the plumbing. But this was a skill set that was lost. So that they could do what? So things could be piped out, so things could be buried, so things could be treated. That was a skill set that was lost. It was taken. It was a brain drain that occurred.
Mm-hmm.
Understand what's going to happen to this place. It's not there. It's going to be a brain migration, but then for the rest of the folks left, that's going to be a forced brain drain. Going to whatever places in the world they're going to get scattered to. That's not my business. That's not my concern. Those are those folks that are left here that decided they didn't want to tag along.
The folks that's going to be left here are going to be waiting for Trump to come back and revitalize the petrodollar.
Yeah, that nobody's using anymore.
Exactly.
That everybody's running away from. Do you understand, family? This is December 1st. BRICS goes into motion literally in less than 31 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be this next year is going to be a time like no other.
Oh yeah, off the top.
A time that we've never experienced before. It's going to be so crazy in terms of things escalating. Like I had said, they're giving these folks Christmas and New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
I said that. Now you're not really hearing anything. They're trying to, have a break in the fighting. Yeah, they're giving them Christmas and New Year's.
They just started fighting again. Israel just started. The IDF just started back up again.
Mm-hmm.
They try. They're trying really, really hard, but it's kind of like, you have a room full of stuff like they show in the cartoons, and they're trying to stuff everything in the room, and everything's coming out, and they're holding the door back, and the door is just swelling open, and they're just holding it back. That's exactly what's happening now, because I just seen a chart with the unrealized gains for the bank, and what unrealized gains is that means it's money that they haven't unrealized gains and unrealized losses. Yeah. That means that they haven't put it on their ledger yet. These are things that they have yet to account for. Yeah. And the chart showed from like early 2000s all the way to now. And during 2008, it showed all the red and stuff where it went down and they had a whole lot of losses. The losses that are going on now are like a mountain compared to those little hills that happened during 2008. It's insane how huge that chart is. This is going to slap so hard. Like it's already being felt. You got layoffs and stuff happening already. You got people in their businesses slowing down. These people are not buying more. They're playing wait and see. they're all waiting until January, because in January, man, I don't know. It's gonna be crazy. It's probably gonna be so many people losing their jobs. They may have to go back to suspending rent, the lease and all that crap again, like they did back in COVID.
Yeah, the moratoriums, lease moratoriums.
And you ain't got to say nothing about no businesses, bro. Ah, shucks. I mean, I know at least 10 of them, black businesses, extremely slow. Extremely slow. And but like what Red said earlier, all those fruit trees in Africa. I was at the sister's house. She had a banana tree right next door. A banana tree. So we goes over to her plot. It's a coconut tree. She said, Mike, you want a coconut? No, we all sitting out. Her neighbor came out. We sitting out talking and thing. I'm just looking. Let me see. I'm looking over and down a hill where there's houses and everything. So she calls the other sister. She calls her brother. He comes over, climbs the tree, put the coconuts down. We sat in the yard drinking coconut water out of the coconut. You just take that machete, get you a straw, and you just drink. I do not see food shortage ever in Africa.
Not on the continent. No. Food shortage on the continent is certainly like, that is an imaginative tale. Like, to be honest, you just can't. Like, if you hungry, you just gonna run up into somebody's field, pick a few berries, and you're gonna be good.
I'm gonna send you the video. The sister's she sent me this video. And it's the corn that she grows, and then she's showing on the video the other land where she wants to get it cleaned up for her to expand the land. I'm like, man, what? Man, that land, it was so much. And in the background, she got mountains.
Yeah, it's a beautiful landscape, family. I'm telling you. The landscape is it's magnificent. It's magnificent. You just, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The rolling hills. Oh,
it's so nice that I'm following a lot of African content creators and stuff from over there, just to get a lot of views of the different, culture things and see how things work over there from a standpoint of our people. And Chick-fil-A biscuit trees. I bet you they do.
That's deep in the Congo.
That's right.
That's deep in the Congo. You're gonna have to get that little talking gorilla.
That's right. You got to fight them gray gorillas to get in there. You have to pass the right from eating the fruit off the Popeyes biscuit tree with no water. If you survive, they'll let you into the Chick-fil-A tree.
just mouth all sorts of parts.
But the thing is, the just in one village, bro, in one village, you have 150,000 people living in one village. Now, can you imagine and say, you know what? I know how to cook chicken real good. I buy from this chicken, this owner who owns. Now I cook these chickens, fry me some chicken up. Now, I'm just saying, and you have you have your own little restaurant there that you serving 150,000 in that village. Now, mind you, these villages are not small, but there's a whole lot of veins in those villages. And it ain't like the brothers and sisters just don't come out. Yes, they do come out. They come out because they, go about shopping, and they go up to the main road.
Yep.
The main road is where you go find all of your grains, your people cooking on the street. Now, our brothers, you don't find too many restaurants that they own. They outside cooking their meat on a grill. And they turn around and they sell it. That's what they do. Like me and Cass was there. The sisters, they had a business in the alley. In the alley between two buildings. And they, cook their rice, things of that nature, and they sell it on the streets each and every day. But the thing that I was thinking about, how do they do that during the wintertime? Not the wintertime, the rainy season when it's, always rain. But one thing they don't do, they don't let it stop them. They do not let that, if it's raining, they seek shelter. Then when it stops raining, they come right out and go right back to work. Right back to work. And so, our next trip. No. We planning on turning this up a whole. It's just gonna be turned up it's going to be the fire has to go higher. It got to go higher because the longer this we are here, and if we stop talking about what we are trying to achieve in Africa, we are dooming ourselves off the top. Because everything that we're doing, whether we know it or not, it's based on scriptures. We got to, Karis got to, speak to the Gentiles, and he said, hey, the scripture here says this is what's going to happen, but you can be saved. That's in the scriptures. You talking about going back home? As quiet as it may appear, it's in the scriptures. Yah said he's going to raise his people eyes. He's going to open up their minds. He's going to start letting them know who they are. This is part of us appreciating and doing our awakening. And our awakening, hey, we're from here. These Gentiles lied to us. We need to get there, do business, and rejoin our brothers there on the continent. Because we already know in our minds, we will be a force to be reckoned with. Now, when we woke up, Hashatan did too. He did. He woke up. He said, "Oh, these Negroes done woke up." Oh, yes, he's in a mad dash panic. A mad dash panic. You even got Gentiles going on channels saying, "Hey, I found out that I'm not Jewish," but they was told it was. They said, I'm from Germany, I'm from this, I'm from that. Now, why are they waking up to their truth? All of this, Yah said what did he say? He said, whatever that was kept in the darkness shall come to the light. They are part of that darkness that's coming into the light. Not saying that, hey, you're about to receive a whole lot of blessing. No, they waking up to their lies. And there's nothing they can possibly do because it's already prophesied that it's going to happen. We woke up to who we really truly are, and we hidden it. There's no letting go. We don't even argue about who we are. We know that's based on faith. When Yah said this and said that, boom, we hold on to it. There's no ifs, ands, no buts. Now you do have some individuals out there that said, no, we are not, and so on. So, and 9 times out of 10, they base their life on Christendom. But that's a dead stick, and it just our way and our desire is to do business and get back to the continent to join our brothers, where those two sticks come back together. Man, that's gonna be a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. But right now, we're still in captivity. Oh, and
yeah.
The moment we get that, get out of that, all right, Our healing starts is when that captivity is over with.
Well, the captivity is, it starts with your, right now we're in a spiritual captivity, right? We can travel, we can do things, for onesies and twosies.
Mm-hmm.
Not for everybody. Everybody, the majority, I'm going to say, of our people are still in that mental captivity. And they're okay being in that mental captivity. But the moment that they realize that their food security, their safety, and all the other staples of their security blanket gets removed, once those four corners of their security blanket gets removed, and now they feel everything, that's when people decide to get up. Nobody stays in their bed when their covers are off of them. They decide to up and move into the places that's what? More comfortable. That's how that goes. With Tanzania, to suspend their visa requirements, they're working on it. Remember, Tanzania is still heavily, heavily, heavily influenced by I'm going to say the Arabian Peninsula.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, what they try, the intent, and what goes on behind the scenes, it's two different stories. And to be honest, they may just be saying that because you want to know why. It's the cool thing to say without, ruffling feathers. They got to appease the people. Yeah. We're working on that right now. We're working on the feasibility right now. But see, that goes through with pressure. And who does that pressure have to come from? It has to come from us. At the end of the day, it has to come from us, because if not, then they won't do it unless they're pressured into doing it. That's just how it goes.
Caris, you notice that the president there, she always got her head covered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's yeah.
Islam. Yep.
Islam. Yeah. So this is how that goes.
Mm.
So yes, family, we still have a lot of work to do. This coming December is here. Thank you for family for helping us to meet the goal with our rent. Family, I thank you all. And number one, I thank the Most High, who put it on the hearts of our brothers and sisters to provide.
Mm-hmm.
And family, unfortunately, we're not finished there, because there's a lot of things that we have to get done. Red has some time on his hands. He's going to work on the video for what we were working with back in November with our brother, with the Reeves going on over and distributing the mink kits. Now they're coming back home and they're getting more mink kits together. So now we've established our supply chain effort with the mink kits. The work is still not done. We're working through with Rwanda so things can be easier flowing into Tanzania. So we're working on those efforts. We've actually found out, especially with this East African trade, that we are seeing that going through different pockets of that federation actually allows us to work in Tanzania a lot easier. So there's a lot of research that we do. There's a lot of contacts and phone calls that we do. And we have to do via WhatsApp. And there's a lot of patience that we have to have, because I have to call people on average at least 8 to 9 times to get things scheduled. Folks, we wait on meetings. where folks won't even show up because
Yeah.
on the continent there may be some internet issues. Mike is reaching on out to folks that he knows in Rwanda.
Yeah.
We're reaching on out to folks that we know in Uganda. You all give us great connections. And we definitely appreciate it because that's how we work. We're only supported in doing this through you all's help. Hey, did you reach on out to here? No, thank you. Appreciate it. And then we make and establish the contact. That's all we do. And then as the Most High opens up these doors and opens up a way, then we begin to move. Then we begin to mobilize off of the planning that we've done within the organization, within our teams. We're learning our brothers and sisters. That's why we have a cultural engagement team. Understanding who they are, understanding what they think of us, right? How do they see us? How to reflect to them? If we don't know what we look like in the mirror to them, seeing ourselves and understanding ourselves, that is half the battle. Because you got to understand, they want to be able to run with us. We get their family, we start running. Thank you, Jay. We appreciate that. Yeah, we're actually working with the Rwandan Development Board right now. So I've reached on out and waiting on that. Unfortunately, earlier on in Quest to Unite Africa's the earlier days, Rwanda was totally fumbled.
Getting emotional.
Totally fumbled. So now we have to, it's a slow process to earn back the trust. And there's so many opportunities. But sometimes we also know this. It's up to the Most High to open up doors again, to bring to heal the rifts. And that will be there when it's ready. Hallelujah. So family, thank you for the rent. We got rent due again in February. Hallelujah. We'll be coming back. Most time willing. I pray that, things really, the doors really start opening and things really start moving. I need everyone to pray for our 501c3. That is finalized here. So I had let folks know in my overzealousness to get the 501c3 worked on. We actually did have it assigned to a determination specialist and it got dropped. I said, why did it get dropped? Nobody can give me an answer. No one can give an answer. And then Sister Shar said, look, Brother Karras, you're working in a government bureaucracy. They don't want to see all that paperwork that you've been sending them. Because every single time I would contact them, I would get all the information of the date that I contacted, and then I would send a nice follow-up fax, which added to the paperwork. Exactly.
Hey, Karras.
My application is too black. Exactly.
Who's that brother? Who's that brother Jay? Say he gonna be there in where's he going, to Uganda?
Yeah,
Or Rwanda?
Yeah, Rwanda. Jay said he was gonna be in Rwanda.
All right.
Yeah, reach on out to us, Brother Jay, because yes, the more folks that we that we have that can, point us in the right direction and help us on out. I'm telling you, the currency is connection. People think that the currency is just money. No, it's not. No, it's not. They got all the resources. You know, our money is just literally, it's just a wish. They got all the resources literally on the ground. Right there on the ground. It's the relationship that they value. We totally think about things in a very, very backwards, westernized manner. So yeah, family. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm tired. I got some things going on this morning. Please keep me and my family up in prayer. Brother Mike, Brother Red, if y'all have any further words.
Well, I would say this and I fall back. We all know what time, what the days in which we live in, and prophecies that are being fulfilled. We want to really keep our minds focused on that. Stay within the scriptures. Always relying on Yah. And there's going to be brothers and sisters that's going to be pushing ahead on other things that needs to get done. In the very near future, we're going to be moving a whole lot faster than what we are doing now, and that's including with Q2UA. We're going to be moving a whole lot faster. It is important that we, stay up to date, because it can be overwhelming when you starting off going 30 miles per hour, and then in a matter of seconds you're at 110.
Mm-hmm.
And see, Yah said in the last days he was going to speed it up in his due time. It's speeding up. Prophecies are being fulfilled. So let's just stay focused on the scriptures along with our actions, because we Yah said he blesses people with have that action. We all putting that action in. The brothers and sisters at Q2UA, the prayer team, you have who else? The grant team. You got all these different brothers and sisters that are working to get work done on the continent, to find relationships, to talk to brothers and sisters on the continent, where we can meet them, greet them, and see, hey, how can we work together? That's the main goal as to what we are trying to do. Matter of fact, I got to talk to Eric. I know he was telling me that he was going back over to Tanzania.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as long as we are here, and for those who can afford to give donations for this drive, we appreciate it. Really do. Because it helps out a whole lot as to what we are trying to do, what we're going to see come to a better plateau. It's going to get to a better plateau off the top. You have too many smart people at Q2UA. When I say smart, I'm talking about they scary smart. If that can be a word. No, I ain't gonna say scary. And they're very enlightening education of these brothers and sisters is absolutely mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's the thing. And I mean, and to have these brothers and sisters at Q2UA doing what they are doing, if I
Yeah, we
said this
just
one,
we just call Big Red the big brain.
yeah,
He's like, we just call Red Brainiac, computing. Yes, I have found this located on the website of this is the
yeah, he's a walking computer.
Red is data.
Yeah.
Computing.
And then you got brothers right up under him. You got, people that's following his lead. You have a Garth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but Mike is on a totally. He's like more so on the programming. Not programming, app building side. But these are some of our brothers. Mike working the logo you see in front on this TV on your computer or whatever. That's the one Mike is working on that logo as to building it into an app. I mean, when I say you got smart brothers here and they working on the main goal we're working on for us to go there to Africa, make connections. Now we did a lot of connections in Tanzania and Dar. So now we went from a meeting and greeting. Now this is all about now our second wave. Now we need to work together. What business can we do together for us to work together and we grow together? That's our second wave. We're not even trying to. We're not trying to take steps back if we don't have to. We're trying to move forward.
Yes,
and that's the beauty of it. And we, like I said, just continue to pray for Q2UA. And with that, I say shalom to the brothers and sisters.
All right. Shalom. All right. Thank you, Brother Mike. Brother Big Red.
Oh, man. It's like, we were saying earlier, and to finish the thought I had, there was a African female content creator, and people keep telling her, why does she use green screen? And all she's doing is just standing outside, her village in different areas.
Green screen. Man.
She's literally just standing outside her village in different areas. And they're like, oh, that's a green screen. And she has to run into the background. She'll have the village kids running around, helping her out and stuff like that. Like it's a beautiful, beautiful place over there. And they've taught us over here we only see Africa, as those old Susan Sarandon commercials, in the arms of an angel with the little kid with the pot belly and the flies and stuff. And it's so much bigger than that. But, they have been held down like we have been held down. And our biggest thing right now is to go over there and help them facilitate a lot of their issues, a lot of the things that they have going on they're sitting on resources like left and right. They're tripping over stuff that these countries pay big money for, and they just got it over there like it ain't nothing. So, it's truly been our goal to go over there and help our brothers and sisters and our cousins to get right, to not be taken advantage of. We're not coming over there to take advantage and do stuff. I remember, Uncle Mike and Brother Karen's telling me about this dude who was a security guard over there making only $45 a month. And that's just ridiculous. That's just absolutely ridiculous. People deserve to be paid fairly, especially because they do good jobs over there. I've heard nothing but very good things about the work ethic of our brothers and sisters and cousins over there. So, it's really imperative that we start shifting our brain into an entrepreneurial mode, as to not to just see it as, oh, this place is underdeveloped. It's opportunities. That's really all it is. It's nothing but a land of opportunity. And it's an opportunity for us to not only reconnect with something that's going to help us live better. I mean, we don't even understand that, how everybody who's come back from over there, man, talk about how just peaceful and the pace is different. And, we don't realize that, we think we got it made over here, but they over here just draining the life out of us literally every day. I mean, it's amazing to have a place where you can actually just live and be human and not just be human collateral. So, I always put it that way to folks, is to get your expectations tempered, prepare yourself to go to a place that may not be the same as America, but see it as, man, I can build some things here to make it good, to make to bring up the quality of life, but to bring over the Babylon nonsense and the Babylon foolishness. And that's all.
Yeah, thank you, Red. Exactly. You want to be a human and not a commodity. And those ways of living are done. And I'm praying that that way of thinking amongst our people is dead. And we're the only ones that has built up this nation. And when we built up this nation, we built up the world. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm. Built up a powerhouse. That's what we did.
All these countries benefit from America. All these other big countries and stuff. That's why you see them now turning from America, because America no longer benefits them. In case y'all didn't know, China, Japan, and South Korea, I believe, they all getting together to form their trilateral commission again. And so, America is not having too many allies right now. Europe is looking at America real sideways right now.
Real suspect.
Their way of life is going down, and clinging to this dollar is looking crazy. I know they'll tell you, if you look at the American finance shows, they'll tell you China and Russia is just dying and their economies are falling. Yes, they're falling according to the dollar measurement market because they're dumping their dollars.
Bingo.
But if you look at them in their overall economic market, they're thriving.
They're
China and Russia got
yes.
all kinds of trade going on. China just inked a deal with Saudi Arabia to buy specifically in yuan and get oil in yuan. That just destroyed the petrodollar.
It did.
Russia, if you look at the the national debt clock for all the different nations, Russia has the smallest amount and they're recovering.
Yep. While they're in the midst of a war, might you add?
Exactly.
Like that's not even heard of. That's so unheard of that in the midst of a war, your economy is literally recovering in the midst of a war, even in sanctions. The most heavily sanctioned state out there besides like Iran and North Korea.
And they're saying it. They were saying that the sanctions basically lit a fire in the Russian economy. That's what they're saying in like Russian things, because they're doing well. All the American countries companies that pulled out, they've been replaced with Russian companies. It's like, this is what it is. And just look, you even look at that as an example. You don't need everything in the West. Just do it your own self and bring it in. Like, that's even an example Russia said, okay, y'all want to pull out? Okay, cool. That's the example we're going to set. Once we get over there, we don't need half of that stuff. We're going to come over here and build it up the proper way. Because a lot of these companies in America, I would say almost 90%, especially these Gentile-owned ones, they're not run very well. They're not run efficiently. They do things in just the most craziest way. And this is why you see a lot of these layoffs and why you see all this craziness going on, because they're just used to this broken economy of infinite growth. It's unrealistic.
yeah. And then when it breaks too much, you get government subsidies and everything else as a handout, and you're like, oh, look how efficient I am. I got paid. I got a bonus. Remember all that craziness in 2020 and 2021? I got a bonus because my company went under and the government bailed me out. Like, get out of here.
And they've been sitting on loans. It's crazy to see how many businesses they call so and so profitable that are literally living off of bank loans, and banks aren't lending anymore. So
bingo.
It's going to get hard even for some of us over here. You're going to start seeing your job decline. You're going to start seeing layoffs and stuff like that. It's just important to keep the thing in mind that, hey, we know that we in this thing, it's not bad. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a temporary, annoyance. But at the end of the road, we know that this is going to lead to our betterment. So it is what it is.
Hallelujah. Absolutely. Thank you, Brother Red. So with that, family, you can continue to support Quest to Unite Africa. Let me put that in the chat here and put that up on the live. Quest to Unite Africa.org. Please, when you give, please ensure that you are registering your donation through our jot form at Q2UAAfrica.org. That allows us to track your donations. So when this 501c3 comes through, you are able to get that form over to you. So that is what we're working on this month, ensuring that everything is reconciled for 2023 filings. So that is what we're doing. So our folks can have their records of what they've been able, that they were able to support this organization. Again, we definitely appreciate your support. We are really going in the right direction. And I thank the Most High for what we have been able to persevere through and where we're going right now. Because, family, we are the light of the world. And we are not just building for us, but we're building for our future, for our children and our children's children. And guess what? That's all said in the word anyway. So we're doing what the Most High has already commanded us to do, because it's already something that's in our hearts. So with that said, family, Most High willing, I'll be back on next week. Again, family, thank you for your gifts. Thank you for your support. And with that said, family, Shalom, Salama, Siyemi, Shalom. Peace and blessings. Yasharel.
Tuna wageni watatu, Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Karibuni sana.